What's going on, guys? This is Kaishiro. Welcome back. So for our video today, we're going to cover the recently concluded OCG Banlist of the July 1st, 2023 limit regulation that is concluded yesterday, Sunday. So in this video, we're going to tackle the implications of the banlist on the OCG metagame format and how will it affect the metagame and what are the key points that we should look upon in this ban list. So without further ado, let's get started. So coming at first on the forbidden section, we have Kashtera Fenrir. Kashtera Fenrir to 0. I think it is rightful because Kashtera has been around for quite some time. You can definitely see Kashtera tops all over the Duelist Cup tournaments in Asia. Especially in Philippines, we have a lot of Kashtera tops on the top 16 of our Duelist Cup. So you can definitely tell that Kashtera is a very good deck. Even though they've got nerfs from the banlist before with the R1 Field Spell and R1 Unicorn, Kashtera proved to be a very good deck despite those factors. That's why I think that Kashtera Fenrir into 0 is a rightful hit to Kashtera. And also Kashtera Fenrir is has been a very good generic card for a lot of decks since the release of Fenrir. People incorporated the Fenrir to have generic card on their disposal. It is very generic, so I think this is a very rightful hit for Kashtera Fenrir alone. And then moving on, we have Super Heavy Samurai Soulbreaker. So Soulbreaker got the ban hammer this time, and I think it is pretty well deserved because FTK for me is not a good win condition, and also a very bad one that leaves a bitter taste for the losing player. Imagine if you are a returning player or a beginner player going into your locals and you are paired with a Super Heavy Samurai player that has FTK enablers. On your game 1, you've got FTK'd or first turn killed on your first game. Imagine how does that impact the player, especially if they are beginner or returning. That's pretty toxic approach to welcome them into the Yu-Gi-Oh game. So I think FTK enablers should be gone on the OCG format. And then moving on, we have Cyberstein to 0. Cyberstein enabled some gateways to really crazy combos, and then FTK plays as well. So I think it's pretty deserved as well for Cyberstein because as you can see, Cyberstein has been in and out of the banlist. Some banlists are Cyberstein is banned, some banlists are Cyberstein is open, and right now Cyberstein is banned again. So you can definitely tell that this card has been toxic for the most part and a very bad card design to begin with. And then we have Smoke Grenade of the Thief. This hit is particularly designated to Earth Good Stuff, Earth Pile decks, and Super Heavy Samurai and Adamantipator decks that incorporated this card. So I think that this is also deserving because the hand rip of this Smoke Grenade is quite irritating to deal against. That's why I think that this is a good way to answer those shenanigans on the Earth Pile decks and other decks that abuses the Smoke Grenade. Then moving on, we have limited section. In the first, we have Performapal Monkey Board. So I think this will definitely help the Pendulum archetype in general. Because imagine having Performapal Monkey Board and Electromite. It is a very terrifying sight to behold. I think that can be very advantageous for the Pendulum players. It can really overwhelm a lot of decks on the format, I think. So I guess this is a good inclusion to the Pendulum decks right now. And then we have Matmech Circular into 1. So it is pretty deserving as well for Matmech because Matmech has been very solid for the past format. One card combo enablers that can go into Update Jammer and Access Code that can OTK, and then Matmech Circular alone can set up 5 to 6 interruptions and negates. So yeah, it's pretty absurd to be honest. Especially Matmech can be very good on diverse formats because it is a mid-range deck that can incorporate 15 to 18, even 12 hand traps on their disposal. So it can answer a lot of decks on the format if they have that much space to work with, so that they can cater their hand traps and utility cards around the format. So yeah, I think this is a good hit to Matmech. But they can just replace this with Firewall Engine and they are pretty much good to go. And then moving on, we have Super Heavy Samurai Soul Piercer. So they suffocated the consistency of Super Heavy Samurai by limiting those Soul Breaker and Soul Piercer. I think this is a good way to address the Super Heavy Samurai. Imagine one card that can go into Barone and other negations and having a bunch of hand traps as well on your disposal, and then even having Kaijus or other cards on your hand. So I think that's pretty much very overwhelming for Super Heavy Samurai. I think that's what do you call this? Unprecedented truth about Super Heavy Samurai being very good much of a deck by their support from Sayak. And then we have MX Saber Invoker. We have this card right now, but to be honest, I haven't seen this card before because I'm not playing the game when this card is legal. Way back, I guess 2016, I forgot. They said it is during the Zodiac format that this card got abused, but I don't know about that because I'm not playing the game during those time. And I think that Konami will test out how MX Saber Invoker will fare on the current metagame format, especially in the modern format. So they just limited this card to test out the waters for this card, if players can abuse this invoker or not. So I think that it is not that much of a big deal right now, but we will see if players can work around on this limited MX Saber Invoker. And then next we have Purely Sleepy Memory. So this is alternative hit to Purely because on TCG they have answered the Purely by limiting the Delicious Memory, and right now on OCG they decided to limit the Sleepy Memory. I guess it is also good on limiting the Sleepy Memory because it enables draw power for Purely. Imagine Purely going first with unaffected boss monster that can shuffle back 2 to 3 times interruptions, and then they have 6 hand cards or even 8 hand cards on their hand that is full of hand traps and many interruptions on their hand cards. So I think that's pretty much very absurd, to be honest. It's really oblivious. So yeah, I think that Sleeping Memory should be limited as well, and I think that Purely is still good even though Sleeping Memory is limited, because they can still definitely replace this card with other consistency cards and other hand traps, and I still think that Purely will function the same way they do right now, but with less consistency and draw power. So Purely is pretty much alive for me. And then moving on, we have Path of Prosperity into limited. I think this is a good way to answer the consistency of many decks right now in the format. A lot of decks are playing Path of Prosperity. Even the best decks right now like Rescue Ace plays Path of Prosperity, and even the tier 3 to tier 2 decks like Exosister plays this card, and even the rogue ones like Fluandris plays this Prosperity. So I think that Prosperity has been very overused for a lot of decks on the OCG format. So I think that Prosperity into 1 is a good one, and I'm really lucky because I haven't bought the second copy of Prosperity. I only have one on my cards. So I think that I'm pretty lucky that I avoided buying the second copy of Prosperity because I anticipated this hit very long time ago. Since the limit of Prosperity onto Master Duel, I predicted this hit to happen in the OCG and TCG as well. And then moving on, we have Runic Fountain into limited section. I think this is the correct way to answer the runic problem of the OCG. And then runic tip to 1 is what I have predicted, but I guess this works well For Runic as well, the Runic Fountain into 1 limits the deck, their ceiling and overall recursion if they are struck with Cosmic Cyclone on their opening stages and their Runic Fountain got banished. They have no ways to recycle this back and play the game like the way they used to be. So I think that this is a good limit to Runic, because I really think that Runic is a very good deck in terms of playing it competitively, because the deck has lower risks but high rewards. Imagine that you can play around Imperm, Veiler, and other cards that normally hits the notable decks on the format, and then you have Runic that sits on Floodgate, banishing 3-4 cards of the top deck of your opponent while chilling around their Floodgate lineup and decking out their opponent. I guess I think that's pretty cancerous, to be honest. And I also played the deck on a few occasions, and I opted to play the deck because of that reason, because it is low risk and high reward. But right now, Runic Fountain into 1 makes the deck more risky, because you may lose to Cosmic Cyclone now. Unlike before, even if your opponent Cosmic Cyclone your Runic Fountain, you have another copy. So yeah, I think this is a good hit for Runic. And then moving on, we have semi-limited section, Armageddon Knight. I guess it will propel the announcement of their new set of the Phantom Knights. I forgot. Phantom about the new set coming soon on the OCG. I guess it is a buff to Yubel. And yeah, that shenanigans from Jaden of the anime. It will help the Yubel to prosper with Armageddon Knight getting semi-limited, and Orgus players also will love this addition to them. And then moving on, we have Super Heavy Samurai Bike. I think it's not that relevant, to be honest. I don't think semi-limiting Super Heavy Samurai Bike is a big deal for Super Heavy Samurai players, and it's just a minor consistency hit for me. And then moving on, we have Prank Kids Meow Meow Moo into 2. I think Prank Kids is a deck that got power creep, for my opinion. I think Prank Kids can still definitely top on smaller locals and then some events, but I don't think the deck is up to the par of the current meta decks right now in the format, like Rescue Ace, Tearlaments, Branded, Meow Meow Mew. Addition to the Prank Kids is not that relevant to contend with those decks that I have said earlier on the meta game. So I think this is a very light addition to the Prank Kids players, so that they can work around on having 2 Meow Meow Moo. So it's nice for them. And then we have Black Dragon. It is a bad hit for me, because Black Dragon into 2 does really nothing, to be honest. Because Black Dragon in one piece does so much damage on many decks right now in the format. Even with one, it can really overwhelm a lot of decks. And semi-limiting this into 2 will definitely do nothing for the Earth Pile decks, to be honest. I even predicted this the Black Dragon into 0, into ban section. But Konami decided to semi-limit this only, because I think that they will test the waters for the Earth Pile decks with Black Dragon into 2, and with the Super Heavy Samurai regulations into this ban list. And then moving on, we have Unlimited section. We have Ancient Fairy Dragon into Unli. Players only play this Ancient Fairy Dragon in 1, because this got errated as well. It's not that good unlike before, but players will still play this, and I think it's only good for one copy only. So I think this is pretty irrelevant. And then we have Salamangreat Gazelle. I know some players here in the Philippines that play Salamangreat, and they pretty much do well right now on the format. They can top events and local tournaments in our country. And I guess they will love this Gazelle edition into their third copy. And it will help the Salaman Great with the new support prosper into the meta game. And I definitely think that Salaman Great is a good deck right now. And it got even better with Gazelle into 3 copies. And then Saryuja, Skull Dread. Not that relevant to be honest. Some FTK decks will definitely be delighted for the Saryuja into 3. But most decks will only run 1 or even 2 copies only of Saryuja. And then Teller Knight, Ptolemaios. I guess it's pretty relevant as well. I have seen rank 4 decks and rank 4 toolbox decks that incorporates this card, but it is only 1 or 2 on their extra deck. So I guess having the third copy is not that relevant for them, except for the Teller Knights, of course. And then we have Blackwing Steam the Cloak. I guess it will help the Blackwing, but not that much. So I guess it's pretty weak on this unlimited section, and it will bring nothing on the metagame. And then we have Thunder Dragonhawk. Thunder Dragon is a very solid budget deck and reliable one as well, because sitting on Thunder Dragon Colossus gives you so much value against the decks like Kashtira and Super Heavy Samurai and decks that adds card from their deck into their hand. So I think this is a good addition for Thunder Dragon, but it's not that major. So I guess this is a good unlimited section leaf from the Thunder Dragon. And then we have Fire Formation Tenki. I don't know how Konami sees this card out. I think they will unban the Zodiac Trident on the next ban list, so that Zodiac can have breathing room and will incorporate this Tenki. Or they have plans for Beast Warrior decks to come up on the following sets. And the thing that I'm really glad about this is I'm a Tri Brigade player. Most viewers on my channel knows that I'm a Tri Brigade player, pure Tri Brigade player. So I definitely love the addition of Tenki into 3. And then moving on, we have Nadir Servant into 3 copies. I guess this is a rather interesting unlimited section, because Invoke Dogmatica players are doing quite good on the format. They can definitely stun a lot of decks with Winda commanding their board, and then having a Dear Servant to 3 will definitely help their consistency around the format. So I guess this is a good inclusion for them, and it is interesting to see how this will pan out on the following weeks. And then we have Spellbook of Judgment. YouTubers and Yugi-tubers said that this is pretty irrelevant on the unlimited section, but for me it will definitely help the Spellbook and Spellbook Sky Striker to prosper, because it will definitely help their draw power. It will help the consistency and ceiling of the deck. So I guess this is a nice addition for them as well, not only on Spellbook but for Spellbook Sky Striker players. So that sums up this video. Shoutouts to YugiOhOrganization.com and to Neo Arcadia for making this article. So what are your thoughts, guys, on this ban list? Let me know below if what are your thoughts on this article and the newly limit regulation in OCG. So thank you for watching this video. Hit the like button if you like this kind of content, and hit the subscribe button if you are not yet subscribed on my YouTube channel, and hit the notification bell if you want to get updated on my future contents. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace.